Peru, the origin of the potato, now the fourth largest food crop in the world. In dishes like fish and chips, the cod is endangered, but few stop to think about the potato. Its success at feeding the world is largely down to the genetic diversity of native potatoes grown by the descendants of the Inca. These guardians of the potato had little recognition or reward. Well, now that's changing, with a project that's proving biodiversity and profits for farmers can go hand in hand. The potato has been grown in the Andes for thousands of years. It was a staple food of the Inca Empire that conquered so much of Western South America prior to the Spanish conquest. Indigenous people have long appreciated its value. Its many forms were celebrated in the art left behind. Its ability to grow at higher altitudes than maize or wheat, in freezing and nutrient-poor conditions, enabled communities to survive here. Few regular shoppers realise that the future of the familiar potato may depend on the little-known thousands of varieties developed from the 230 original wild ones. Peruvian farmers know the potato comes in many weird and wonderful shapes and sizes and colours. Some reputedly have the power to ward off misfortune from a farmer's fields. Others were traditionally used to select a bride. Most of them aren't grown commercially. Even in Peru, relatively few varieties have reached urban markets. But that's changing. 200 farming families are now part of a project called Tika Papa, a brand name under which native varieties are marketed and are setting a trend for discerning urban buyers.
These are Peru's native varieties. They've always been cultivated in this region by the local farmers here, more than 4,000 meters above sea level. They have interesting pigments, which are very good for our health. I've seen 75-year-old farmers still working the land.
Agricultores con 75 años trabajando con pico en estas condiciones.
These potatoes have been cultivated for thousands and thousands of years. No one eats native potatoes now with their high levels of healthy compounds. The scientists say they have high levels of vitamin C, flavonoids, antioxidants, vitamins and proteins in higher percentages than commercial potatoes.
Potato harvest time in the mountains has changed little since the time of the Inca Empire. In an ancient ritual, offerings are made to the gods for a good harvest. Thanks to the Tika Papa project, there's a growing market in the cities for these traditional varieties. Sales are up from 14 tonnes in 2004 to 50 in 2006. Oscar Delgado works for the Project for Innovation and Competitiveness of Peru's potato sector, or INCOPA, the organisation that developed the Tika Papa idea.
Our purpose is to identify the different varieties of potato that have commercial potential. We also need to work in selecting and classifying new types of potatoes. We need to work a little more with new varieties, mainly with colourful pigments.
The native potato varieties are hardier than the mass-market white varieties and could hold the key to beating disease.
If we have clean seeds, free from disease and viruses, our productivity will increase.
The Tika Papa project doesn't only involve farmers. This is the International Potato Centre based in Lima. Its germplasm bank can provide samples of each variety, bringing science to the business of preserving biodiversity and boosting incomes of the poorest farmers.
It's insane to hold a treasure like this if you're not going to find ways to make it useful. We have the largest collection of potato germplasm in the world, but we're also charged to use that germplasm with the objective of doing research that helps reduce poverty and hunger.
The farmers may hold the key to knowledge handed down through generations, but the partnership with hard science helps ensure the wide range of varieties can be preserved. This will enable scientists to adapt potatoes to protect them from new diseases and climate change.
Tika Papa es un proyecto que utiliza papas nativas.
Tika Papa is a project all about native potatoes. This project identifies the native varieties. We get healthy examples, free from viruses, take them to rural areas and study them with farmers.
Los agricultores son los que escogen las variedades más importantes, por supuesto en asociación con los...
The farmers select the varieties they want, with guidance from experts in marketing, from supermarkets and shopping centres and so on.
Tika Papa utilizar y promocionar en la cadena productiva. Es importante porque hay muchas amenazas contra la biodiversidad.
Even the economic development of countries puts pressure on these resources. So we identify the varieties which are under threat from genetic erosion, bring them to the bank and keep them safely for the future.
Identificar estos lugares que están bajo peligro de erosión genética, escoger estos materiales, traerlos aquí al banco y mantenerlos de manera segura para la posteridad.
Tika Papa is a collaboration bringing grassroots knowledge together with science and marketing to boost incomes and preserve biodiversity. Biodiversity can be good for business too, showing the urban shopper that there's more to native potatoes than meets the eye.
El crecimiento de ventas de este producto.
Sales of these products were slow initially, but slowly, little by little, once it started, things changed. Year on year, sales doubled, which is very interesting for the supermarket and even more for the farmers.
Los primeros pasos de año a año estamos prácticamente doblando las ventas, que es muy interesante para un supermercado y mucho más interesante para el agricultor.
The buzz surrounding the comeback of the native potato is now spreading faster in the city.
Nosotros como supermercados.
As a supermarket, we were informed of the feedback from our customers. The opinion seems to be that we should change traditional potatoes for native potatoes, which are better.
It doesn't stop with supermarkets either. The native potatoes are making it into haute cuisine too, putting them on the menu at Peru's Cordon Bleu cookery school.
Recently we're getting access to all of those potatoes from the islands, all those native potatoes that are not common in the market. You know, usually the common folks do not get access to this dish. I mean, we've done a lot of dish of potatoes. I think this particular dish is one of the best, because there you get to see them. You get to see the color, you get to see the texture, and if you eat that simply with when they're still warm with a nut of butter and just a pinch of salt, then this is what it's all about.
The native potatoes are celebrated in the cuisine, and there's not a French fry in sight.
This is more than the potatoes. It's like eating a piece of history also. You know, a tradition of. I think there's no way that cannot be a success.
Isabel Alvarez runs a restaurant in Lima.
Once you generate a demand for these products, you're giving value and appreciating the work of the peasant community, which brings this heritage to life. Because potatoes aren't just food, they represent the identity of the Andes culture.
In the mountains, that view is confirmed.
I'm proud of these potatoes. They make me feel Peruvian. For me, it's the most significant part of my heritage. Our fathers, our grandfathers, our ancestors always grew these varieties.
The treasure of the Andes, of the Incas, is not so much gold, it's potatoes. If we win the prize, all the small farmers will be glad to be known around the world. and that way improve business opportunities. For many of them, money isn't important. It's the fact of being recognized. If we win, we'll invest it in organizing our project. We need to improve our organization. There have been small changes, but there's still a lot of work to do.
On World Challenge 2007 next time, how underground energy is sweetening life for Indonesia's palm sugar producers and saving endangered animals. And in rural Haiti, how children are getting the education their parents never had. And don't forget, you can log on to www.theworldchallenge.co.uk. That's www.theworldchallenge.co.uk, where you can find details of all the World Challenge projects and where you can vote for your favourite project in World Challenge 2007.